Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Okay, today's video is finally getting around to a fuse guide for you, and I'll give you my best tips and my thought process of how to master fuse. These are just all my best tips with him, and basically just how to master his knuckle clusters and his fuse ult. This guy is an insane legend. He is one of the better ones in the game because of his offensive and defensive capabilities. I think a lot of people just underestimate him and don't know how to play him, so I will show you all of my tips and tricks with him, and hopefully that will get you to master them as well. I do think he's probably upper B tier. I wouldn't put him in A tier just yet. He does need a little bit of a buff on his fuse ult, but you can still make it work. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dive right into the video. Alright, the first part, guys, is going to be mastering knuckle clusters. Alright, part 1 is going to be called the door slap. Now, this play I have came up with fuse. This works 100% of the time. I'll slow it down and explain what I'm doing here. This is called the door slap. I named it this because you literally slap the ever-living shite out of the person across the door. You knuckle cluster the door, get ready, fire when you think it's about to break. You have the advantage every single time. I have done this play probably over 100 times, if not 200 times. I have never died or lost a gunfight doing it. So I'll slow it down one more time. So I have full health. I know he's on the other side of the door, so I'm going to stick the door. And you're like, oh, doesn't that damage yourself? Well, sure it does, but it does way more damage to them, especially with your gun being ready. Usually they're healing on the other side. If he backs up and runs away, I can just shoot him in the back. So this play works every single time, whether they stay on the door or if they turn around and run away. I'll show several different perspectives. I have never died doing this. I'll tell you when not to do it, but you can see this even in pred lobbies. This Wraith has no idea what's coming for her, and here comes the door slap. Bam! She's dead. I only lose 100 hit points. She dies. This play works every time, guys, if you do it correctly. Basically, the only time I wouldn't do it is if you're under 50 hit points, which I will show you here in a second. But look, this Octane's got a heal. He can either move or he can die right here. Bam! Works every single time, guys. I call this the door slap play. This is something you need to learn and master a fuse right away. Doesn't matter what gun you have, you can do it every single time. Works best with a shotgun. This guy's got purple armor, have white. Bam! Every single time. Knuckle clusters did the work, rest of the work, and downs him. And then right again, this is in ranked. You can do it with a team. I can tell them, hey guys, pre-fire the door, pre-fire the door. There goes Gibby, and Valkyrie separated. This play works every time, guys. The one time you don't do it is, watch right here, my health, after I PK this Watson, is if you ever get underneath 50 hit points, you don't, like right here, I'm going to knuckle cluster the door and turn around and run away. The knuckle cluster would do way too much damage to me, and I would not be able to down them, so that's the time you do not use it. You use doors to your advantage with fuse as much as possible, but mostly if you have to run away, you knuckle cluster the door, turn around and run. You don't stay and try to fight them. Now, if I have more than 50 hit points, every time I'm going to knuckle cluster the door and door slap them. So it works every time, guys. Master it right away. And the second tip to mastering your knuckle clusters is moving your opponent. There's several different ways of doing this, either by sticking them directly or more specifically shooting to the left or right of them if they're behind cover. This play comes in massively when they're behind cover trying to res a teammate or just trying to heal. You always want to move your opponents to your advantage. If you can always make your opponents come to you or move out in the open, you will always win in gunfights. That is the way Apex is built. That is the way fuse is made in this game. So you can see I downed this person. I'm going to slow it down here in a second. I'm trying to thirst him, do everything I can so he does not get picked up. You see the bloodhound runs right in, and I broke him. Alright, now this is where I'm going to slow it down. So I broke him. I know he's going to try to res his teammate or heal. So what am I going to do? I'm going to wait for my knuckle cluster to recharge, and once it comes back right here, I'm going to knuckle cluster either the right or left hand side to move him. So I shoot the right side. This moves him to the left. I go ahead and pre-aim to the left because I know he doesn't want to take any more damage to the knuckle cluster, and boom, he is dead. This is a strategy that comes with fuse. My knuckle clusters are never random, guys. I'm always thinking several steps ahead on how to use the knuckle clusters and just how to move my opponent. They're never at random. I'm always directly trying to stick them, but more specifically trying to move them to my advantage. So right here, this Wraith is shooting me. You can tell she has me on the run. I'm trying to cover my retreat. So right here, you see her jump in the window on the left hand side. I'm slowing it down. I'm going to knuckle cluster the right side to keep her from jumping back to the right. This forces her to the left. Look, she thinks about going out. She can't. Then I'm able to easily kill her because the knuckle clusters pushed her into the left. The next clip, same thing. Fried this Valkyrie, bless her heart, she got just straight deleted. And then you're going to see her seer come up. When the seer comes up, I'm going to knuckle cluster to the right side of the box to try to keep him away from getting that box. Now I'm going to knuckle cluster to the left side. This is moving him. He's going to either stay there and take a lot of damage and die, or he's going to have to move out in the open. So you always have the advantage of fuse if you are just smart with the knuckle clusters. They are so incredibly good if you know what you're doing. Same thing with this Wraith. I'm fighting this Wraith. I'm going to knuckle cluster to the left. I was really trying to aim for her, but it does hit to the left. This moves her to the right. I can predict it. I go extremely to the right real quickly. I'm able to kill her. Same thing with this guy right here, the Valkyrie. You'll see the kind of process. I don't stick her. I shoot the ground behind her because I'm wanting her to either push in or move out, and she pushes in, or the Loba does, and I'm able to down her as well. This works every single time if you are able to use it effectively to the left or right of the opponent. Right there, I shot behind, just trying to force her in or out. So you always want to move your opponents, guys. You can do this directly sticking them, but make sure if they're ever crouched behind cover, you don't just shoot the cover directly, like just like shoot a box directly or a wall. You're going to shoot the right side or the left side. Just move them out in the open. Part number 3 of mastering knuckle clusters is going to be healing. Now if I'm ever in a firefight and I have a knuckle cluster, I'll always shoot it in a general direction to cover my healing, and you will see what I'm talking about here. So I have a knuckle cluster, I'll slow it down. Why do I shoot it there? This is so I can heal with my syringes or get full health and just know if somebody's pushing. I will know if they're coming around the corner. I will get ticks, I will hear the damage indicator, and I also physically see it. This allows me to get off a syringe. I do this all the time. You can do this with grenades, you can do this with the fuse ult, you can do this with everything, but more specifically knuckle clusters. You'll see right here, I absolutely delete this bang, but unfortunately get popped as I'm thirsting her, and it's the same thing. You will see me use the knuckle cluster to my advantage. Right there, I shot it on the wall to make him move around. I have no idea where the guy went. He ends up, I think, coming up and shooting me in the back here in a second as I'm trying to loot. Yep, there it is. Okay, so he pops me. So right here is another situation. I'm going up to the 3rd floor. Do it all the time in this building. I'm going to slow it down. I turn around and I shoot that wall. This tells me he has to go past it if he goes up the zip. And I will see the indicator. He will either go all the way to the top or he will come right to me on this door. This allows me to get the med kit off completely, because even if he did go up the zip, I would know exactly where he is. But he doesn't even take the zip because he doesn't want to risk taking the damage from the knuckle cluster. I use this strategy all the time, guys. If you ever need to heal and you're in a firefight, shoot the knuckle cluster in front of you or on a wall, just in a general direction, so you do know if they are pushing you. It's the same concept as moving your opponent. You'll see I'll even use my fuse ult to be able to highlight the enemies, which we'll talk about in future later in this video. But this also allows me to heal completely. Fuse has a lot of advantages if you know how to use them, and this is definitely one of them. I can usually heal full health if I have knuckle clusters by my side. Alright, the 4th and final part to mastering your knuckle clusters is going to be covering your retreat. Okay, so let me slow it down, and what I'm explaining right here is you see I shoot the knuckle cluster behind me. This is allowing me to know if they are chasing me or not. You're going to see me shoot the ground here in a second. I'll slow it down again. And I do this all the time with this knuckle clusters. Right here, I'll slow it down. I'm shooting the ground because I have enough hit points. Usually you can run out of knuckle clusters quick enough to not taking damage. This allows me to know if he is chasing me or going the other way. So look, I'm running away. See the damage tick, 10, and you'll see it go to 20. I know the guy is hot on my tail. This allows me to either turn on him or to keep moving. I do this all the time with grenades. You could do it with the fuse ult. You could do it with so many different things, but the knuckle clusters especially. You can see the guy right in front of me coming towards me. I shoot the ground so I know if he is chasing me or not, and then I run away. Same thing with the nades. You can see I'm bouncing them off of stuff to cover my retreat. You can do this with every ability with him, but more specifically the knuckle clusters. You can practice in the firing range, have a buddy chase you, but constantly just like shoot the ground in front of you and run past it. And this will allow you to get better situational awareness if they are chasing you or not. The best part about this is they're so loud, you can actually use them to res teammates as well. So I'm using this right here, shooting it above me because it makes a lot of noise. And if I see damage ticks or anything, then I let go of my teammate. I use it all the time for resing. So his knuckle clusters, guys, are extremely good. Fuse is an excellent legend. I think a lot of people misunderstand him. They don't really know how to play him. But you can see right away, I got my teammate up, popped her from 110 when she came around the corner. It's just overall, like I said, he's just a genius character. Same thing right here. I stuck the Watson directly. I'm trying to run and cover my retreat as best I can. And so I'm trying to play this door, and she's pushing up on me right here. I let her open the door, stick. Okay, now here comes the knuckle cluster. I'm backing everybody off of me so I can heal. You do this every single time with Fuse. If you ever need a heal, like I said, you just constantly shoot the ground, shoot behind you, shoot walls, whatever it is. There's always a lot of strategy. You don't even just blatantly fire the knuckle clusters randomly. There's always strategy to them. Most of the time, like I said, I'm trying to stick them directly, and you'll see that even with this bang when I hit this grav cannon, I'm going to try to stick them directly. These things are actually fairly easy to stick. They're not that hard in my opinion. So definitely work on it a little bit, guys. Like I said, you can practice with a buddy in the firing range, and he can definitely help you, like, chase you around, and you just kind of work edges and shoot the right side, push him to the left, vice versa, or be able to make him chase you, or, you know, just whatever you can do just to kind of get more of an IQ play and understanding for Fuse. So next up, guys, we're going to talk about his Fuse ult, and I'll help you master that as well. Actually, lie, guys. Tip number 2 is going to be how to manage your backpack. We're just going to talk about this really quickly because this can be a little confusing with Fuse. You're like, how many nades should I carry? There you go on the left-hand side. If you're level 1 backpack, 2 to 4 nades. Level 2, 4 to 6. Level 3, you want to carry 6 to 8 grenades. Here's a couple of different level 1 backpack variations. Basically, I usually like to carry a shotgun because you only need 1 stack of ammo for a shotgun instead of, like, say, 2 light stacks right there. You can replace one of those stacks just to carry 2 more grenades. That's the beauty of Fuse's passive. He carries a 1 extra grenade in a slot versus regular legends. So I do think that you should be carrying a lot of grenades. You can see right here I'm carrying 8 right there. Sometimes I'll even carry 10 with a purple backpack. If you guys do not feel comfortable running a lot of grenades, Fuse is not the legend for you. You use these things in every single way, whether it's you know, just pushing off a team, preventing third parties, whatever it is, guys. You can take buildings easily. The more nades you have, the better, especially in Apex Legends. Nades are ridiculously OP in my opinion. So Fuse, you definitely want to carry a lot of them. And once again, level 1, you want to carry 2 to 4 grenades. Level 2, 4 to 6, and level 3, 6 to 8 grenades at least. You can carry more if you want to. That is up to you. You need at least carry those. So now we'll get on to the Fuse ult, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. Which leads us to tip number 3, mastering the mother load. It's probably the hardest tip for Fuse. So on the top left hand corner, if you don't know anything about his ultimate, it slows enemies and allies both if they are in the flames. It'll permascan enemies inside. It'll only splash about 5 to 8 damage on impact, and you can zoom in with it and snipe around 200 meters. Now it will do around 65 damage if they run through the flames after it's already placed, and then it'll do unlimited damage as long as they constantly run in the flames. So it is a very good ultimate, but you need to know how to master it. Part number 1 of this is going to be trapping. Anytime an enemy Gibby throws his bubble, I want you to trap them. I want you to fire the Fuse ult right around them. Now this is essential in ranked since Gibby is the most used legend in ranked. If you fire this around them, their team has to do 3 things. Either they stay with the Gibby and you can manipulate the basically the ring, or they will leave the Gibby, then you definitely win, or they will try to port him out, which is that's the most common. In this case, the Wraith left him, were able to kill that team. So anytime you see an enemy bubble, you immediately Fuse ult it, works every time. So this next one, you can see I zoom in with it. Like I said, you can zoom in with the ultimate, and I quickly snipe. It's like a quick scope ultimate, and I'm able to place it right on the care package. This comes with time and experience, guys, and you can see this team is just messed up afterwards. And when you're firing your ultimate, you fire your knuckle clusters, nades, anything you can in the ultimate to get rid of that team. You're like, what if I ever get trapped in the Fuse ultimate? I advise you to run out of it if possible and just take the damage. If you let the team get around you, you are probably in trouble. So basically, guys, this comes over time and practice, like aiming. It does take a little while to master, but you can get the hang of it. Just practice in the firing range, quick scope the dummies, activate the dummies with the glitch, make them run around, do whatever you can with the Fuse ult, and just practice shooting it. I'm able to quick scope it, sniper with it, whatever I need to do. It is a very good ultimate. I do think it needs a slight buff, but it is a very good ultimate if you use it correctly. It's just very difficult to use. A lot of players don't know how to counter it because a lot of Fuses do not know how to use it. But if you do know how to, it messes players up. So I definitely recommend working on trapping. You can tell right here I snipe across the map with it. I don't recommend doing this until you master it, but I won't slow it down. I don't even have to zoom. I know how to use this thing. I placed it right in the corner. You can see it's highlighting the enemies. You fire nades right away with it, knuckle clusters, wherever you can to get the team inside of it to go through it or to die inside of it. And you can see I hit them for 100. We can still see the guys in the corner. It is just a wrap from there. His fuse ult is extremely good. You can use it any distance. That's what I'm talking about for part number 2 of this. But if you're going to snipe with it, this is one of the biggest errors with new fuse mains, is they snipe with it way too far away and teams get out of it with no effect. If you're going to do that, you need to know what you're doing with your team. I do recommend you use it mid-range or closer first. Alright, so next up, it's going to be close range, like point blank range in buildings. You can use the fuse ult any way possible. This way, I like to use it in buildings. You can see I stick this guy with the arc star. I know I can down him with the fuse ult. It eliminates that side from play, and immediately this guy goes down after he hits the arc star and the fuse ult. Motherload downs him. The reason why this is so important is because you can fire it in buildings, guys, all the time. It only does 5 damage to you. So if you have more than 5 hit points, or I think 8 hit points, one of the two, then you can fire it on yourself. Just run away from it quickly. So right here, look, I cancel my battery. I see the grenade right there, and I run to my teammate. I'm going to fire the fuse ult to help him. This does slow him, but it helps him and prevents them from pushing inside the Gibby bubble. I'm able to go upstairs. They know they can't push me there. And look, I'm doing damage to this guy, and he actually gets down by my motherload. So a lot of people don't use fuse ults in close range combat. You need to. It messes up the enemy team. Best part is the enemy team was Nick Merckx. This man has no idea what Fuse's abilities do. He is new to Apex, and he runs right in the flames and is like, oh crap, it's slowing me, and boom, dead. So his fuse ult is pretty good if you know how to use it. Part 3 of it is going to be recon. This is probably more of a rank tip. I use it for like zooming in across the map and scoping out teams. I don't really do this in pubs that much, but if you do want to practice it, like you said, you can zoom very far. It is essential if you don't have a sniper. Maybe you have just SMGs. I'm able to see every detail about these guys, and you see the new team sliding down the hill. Small tip, but it works. Part number 4, the hardest one, guys. You need to pay attention to this. It's the highest IQ moment for Fuse, is blocking. Now, blocking is eliminating a side of play, and I will show you what I'm talking about. So I'm limiting the left side with nades and knuckle clusters, but the fuse ult will completely eliminate a side. So I'm blocking the right side completely. They cannot come through that now. And I'm going to try to res my teammate. I do this all the time in buildings. This is more for like close quarter combat, and it allows you to res teammates or your Gibby teammate, whatever it is, or res them every single time. You can do it to run away to heal, whatever you need to do. You can see I'm frying these guys, but I don't like the position I'm in, so I'm going to block this door from play. This eliminates this side. The fuse ult lasts, I don't know, maybe like 20 seconds maybe, but if I had to guess, and it will stay there and they cannot go through that. So I know right away I can pop a battery. If they come through it, I will know because the damage tick number. So you can use this in any way, guys, like just resing teammates, blocking teammates right here, blocking enemies from retreating, so they cannot go back. If they go back, they're dead. So they have to stay and fight. I eliminated their play right there. It's very essential. It's very hard to do. You have to constantly keep thinking ahead, 2 steps ahead, to be able to do this play. Right here, my teammate goes down. I'm going to eliminate this door from play. They cannot peek it. They cannot come through it. This allows me to res my teammate. So now you can understand that blocking is definitely the hardest play of Fuse's ultimate, but it's one of the best. So that's about it, guys. That is my advanced guide for Fuse. I pretty much have a beginner's guide, I would say. It's I guess semi-beginner. Back in season 8, if you want to check it out, I'll try to put a link for it. But overall, this is more advanced tips because Fuse is a very difficult legend to play. I have noticed that the more I played him, and people ask me a lot of questions about him, that he is difficult, but he's very rewarding and he is extremely good. A lot of you guys are asking me if I will compete pro leagues, ALGS with him. Absolutely, I will love to. I've been playing him in ranked pred lobbies and PC, playing against a lot of pros. I would love to take this guy and show people that he is a very essential legend. He can be. He's the only legend that can be aggressive and defensive in every aspect in the game. He is very good. He's just very tough to play. You need to know how to master him. So practice these tips, guys. Practice with a friend in the firing range if you can. Hope you like this video, guys. If you do like this video, please smash the thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next one.